Dear learner, today I am going to discuss one very important topic known as functions. Functions are very useful to make a program modular. There are some points which will give you the usefulness of functions. Splitting a large program into separate functions make the program more readable and maintainable. Second point, it is easy to debug a small subprograms by writing functions rather than a large program. If we divide a large program into some small subprogram, then it will be easy for us to correct the subprograms. If a particular task is required at multiple places in a program, then rather than writing same code again and again, we can create a function and call it whenever necessary. Commonly used functions may be generalized, tested thoroughly, and kept in a C library file for future use. Functions can be divided into two types. Built-in functions. Built-in functions are also known as library functions and user-defined functions. User-defined functions are those functions written by the user. C program generally consists of many small functions. The difference of built-in and user-defined function is that we, as a programmer, do not have to write code to implement a library function, whereas we need to code the user-defined function to program a well-defined task. As I have already mentioned what is user-defined function. The functions which we write for a particular purpose is known as user-defined function. Main is one example of user-defined function, and built-in function. Built-in functions are also known as library functions. The system provided these functions and stored them in the library. We need to include the appropriate C header files to use these library functions. Here, a few library or built-in functions are mentioned with their header files. Printf and scanf, these are two library functions which are included in this header file. Standard input output.h, stdio.h. Similarly, if we want to perform some string manipulation function, then we can use the library function string length, string copy, string cat, string compare, etc. And definition of these functions are written in this header file string.h. For mathematical calculation, we can include some mathematical functions like pow, which will give the power of a number. That means power xy means x to the power y. Square root of a number, sine of number, cosine, 10, and exponential number. Many inbuilt functions are in this math.h header file. This configuration input-output header file contains some functions like layer skin, gauges, etc. These are all library functions. Now, what is function declaration? Function declaration is also known as prototype declaration. A function declaration provides the following information to the compiler: the name of the function, the type of the value returned, the number and type of arguments that must be supplied in a call of the function. Function declarations should always be terminated with a semicolon. In all function declaration statement, we have to give one semicolon. Here one example is given. The user-defined function is add. The function is taking two parameters, integer and integer, and return type is integer. And in this declaration statement, one semicolon is required. Integer add within this first bracket, two parameters are taken. This is the syntax of function declaration. First, we have to give the return type, then function name, then data type. variable 1, data type variable 2, like this. Parameters are given like this with their data type. Here, this is the example: integer add integer a, integer b, then one semicolon. Similarly, some other examples are also given. Float add, like this, we can add floating point values. Void display void, this is one function declaration statement where return type is void and there is no argument or parameter, so it is void. Now I am coming to function definition. A function definition comprises of mainly two parts: function header and function body. The first line of the function definition is called the function header. Function header is followed by function body. Function body contains the statement to perform the desired tasks. Suppose I want to perform some particular task like addition, multiplication. For that, I have to write one function add, or for multiplication, I can write another function multiply. Within those functions, I have to give the logic of the function. Function body is enclosed within braces, second bracket, and is composed of statement that makes up the function. Function header and function declaration must use the same function name, number of arguments, types of arguments, and return type. This is the syntax for function definition. First, we have to give the return type, then function name, then the list of variables as parameter. Within this parenthesis, this is the body of the function. First, local variables are declared, then some statements are declared, then return variable. If the return type is integer, then the function will return an integer value. If the return type is float, then the function will return some float value. If the return type is void, then this return statement is not required. And this is one example. Now I am coming to function call. A function call is specified by the function name followed by the values of the parameter enclosed within parentheses terminated by semicolon. This is the syntax for function call. First, I have to give the function name, then list of variables, then one semicolon. Add, then this variable names, then semicolon. The list of variables used in function call is known as actual parameter. The variables which are mentioned in the function call are known as actual parameter. And the variables which are mentioned in the function definition, those variables are known as formal parameters. If the return type is not void, then the value returned by call function may be assigned to some variable. This is one statement where the return type of this function sum is stored in this variable result. This is the structure of a main program, and here from this main program, two functions are called, function 1 and function 2. From the first two lines, void function 1, void function 2, these are known as function declaration or function prototype. From the main function, these functions are called and definitions are written here like this. This is the definition for function 1, then this is the definition for function 2. And both the two functions are called from main function. Here one example is shown: program to find the largest of two numbers using user defined function maximum. Here before the main function, the function declaration statement is written: integer maximum to integer type variable. This is the function declaration statement. Then within the main function, first two integer type variables values are taken in this variable AB. Then in this statement, max equal to maximum AB, this is a function call statement. Maximum is calculated in this function, and the result will be stored in this variable max. After that, the main function will display the value of max with this statement. After the end of the main function, the definition of maximum function is written. Here x and y are known as formal parameters, and in the function call statement a and b are actual parameter. In the maximum function definition, using an if-else statement, two values are compared, x greater than y. If x is greater, then x is assigned to m, or if y is greater, then y is assigned to m, and then m is returned with the help of a return statement, return m. The return value will be stored in this maximum variable, and the main function will display the maximum value. This is one simple example of writing an user-defined function.